Hello, this is Beth Casteel reporting for the Cleveland Stater, and this week I wanted to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her life through the eyes of her son, James Ginsburg. During the week of April 15th, Cleveland State University's students, faculty, staff, and even outsiders of the university had the rare chance to see Ruth Bader Ginsburg through the eyes of both her son James and his wife Patrice Michaels. Guest of Dr. Angeline Chang, who is a law and music professor at Cleveland State University, both Ginsburg and Michaels spent much of their time interacting with the university at large, whether it was visiting music-related classes, hosting events in the law school, and even performing Michael's musical Notorious RBG in song. They had a very busy week. One of the first things James Ginsburg did at Cleveland State was to visit the moot courtroom in Cleveland martial law to discuss his mother, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whether it was her career and successes in the field of law to growing up with her as his mother. The event was titled Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a discussion presented by James Ginsburg on Tuesday, April 16th, and it was set to honor all of Ginsburg's work during her 25 years on the U.S. Supreme Court. The discussion was moderated by Lee Fisher, the Dean of Cleveland Marshall College of Law. During this time, Ginsburg was able to discuss his mother's legacy on the stand, his time with her growing up, and his own life with his wife Patrice and his record label Sadie Records. There is also audience questions taken at the end, in which people asked more insight into scenes from her recent biopic On the Basis of Sex, her Cleveland connection, and many more. As the discussion wrapped up, Ginsburg did share one final thought, to which Fisher can now be credited as giving Cleveland State one family secret that they could, and I quote, say we heard it first at Cleveland Marshall College of Law.
Do you want people to know about your mother that they may not know? That unique perspective that you've had your whole life on her. We've talked about it tonight, but is there any other family secrets? Or are there any family stories that you can tell us that we can then spread throughout the country tonight? Anything that we can leave us with, just a morsel of an extra gem. Think about it, anything that we can say, we heard it first at Cleveland Marshall.
Yep, we're back on.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to just tell a story that illustrates the wonderful relationship between my parents. And, we talked about not taking yourself too seriously. And I think my father was a big help in that. And I just give one example. I mentioned golfing over weekends. And there was one time that my mother, as you know, is deliberate in all the things she does. And there was one time we were on the green, and she was standing hunched over, way over on a putt for the longest time. And my father finally came around the back of her and said gently, "I believe you're supposed to face east." I think that in a nutshell was their relationship.
Shortly following the discussion at the moot court, Ginsburg and his wife Patrice Michaels also hosted Notorious RBG in Song, a musical tribute to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. During an interview with the Cleveland Stater, Michaels shared some insight into how she started the project.
I'm the primary composer. I wrote a song cycle about my mother-in-law that came to be because my husband and his sister wanted to give their mom a special gift for her 80th birthday.
Okay.
And so they commissioned 3 women composers to write each one song in honor of RBG. And when I wrote and performed all of those songs, I found it so fascinating and so meaningful to other people
At the show itself, Michaels was able to work with Professor Chang. Chang is only the 4th pianist in the world to ever perform the work with Michaels. Additionally, Dean Fisher made a cameo appearance during the performance to read a brief summary of 5 cases in which Bader Ginsburg wrote dissents that Michaels said she felt the true side of RBG's legal mind. The Ginsburgs wrapped their time in Cleveland on Friday, April 19th, after getting to see all of what Cleveland State had to offer, while also offering their own insights into Ruth Bader Ginsburg, sharing her legacy with all of the students, faculty, staff, and outsiders of the university. Check out the latest issue of the Cleveland Stater to read the full article, Notorious RBG Comes to the CLE. This has been Beth Casteel reporting for the Cleveland Stater.